it's the money. Money is money. What
Money's
do they
king,
say?
right?
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So,
Mm.
and all the money and all the power is being consolidated in one area. All these, I mean, even it's like the only people willing to go against uh the Saudis is the PBC guys because they have someone who has a investment fund backing them too.
He is the former WBC, USABC light heavyweight champion. Checkmate. The former USBA light heavyweight champion. Checkmate.
Final
And the
round.
former WBC Continental Americas light heavyweight champion. Checkmate.
Final
He
round.
is your host, Cedric Agnew. Can I get the D out? Yeah.
All right.
We're good to go.
Start us off.
Yo, so man, hey. I told you, man, we're gonna do a follow up. So what's been going on with you, man?
It's been a quick turnaround since the last one we did. Ended up getting contract secure for my next fight.
Great.
Management deal set in place. Yeah, got the ball rolling. About to get this momentum back started, and yeah, get back to where I belong.
That's what's up, man. That's what we when we originally reached out. That's what we was looking for, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why B was like, hey, when you get that news, make sure we be the first ones because
Yeah,
it's always great, you know what I'm saying, to see a fellow brother go out there and continue the pursuit of his career, man. You know what I'm saying?
appreciate it.
So tell the people, what's going down. Like, where's who you fighting? When
I'll be fighting May 17th in Nashville, Tennessee. The guy we're fighting, I believe he's got about 30, 31 fights. Younger, tough kid, but yeah, we'll see what he has fight night.
Okay. And without revealing too much, what is it? What's the feelings like when you preparing for this, like this upcoming bout? Like, where's your what's the state of mind kind of like?
For me, so I'll say this. As I like stated in the last one, like I said, I since my last fight, I really haven't taken much time off.
Hmm.
I've been in the gym, training, staying sharp, of course. But once you get a target, like a face, you can put a target on and a name and an actual date. Like a switch kind of flips in your head.
Hmm.
Things start to click a little bit faster, and your movements start to sharpen up, things like that. It's almost like you're preparing for battle, like versus
Hmm.
staying sharp. Like it's a difference, of course. Any
Right.
fighter,
Trust me.
any fighter will.
Trust me. I know how it is because it's like when you got nothing on the table, but you know as a fighter you got to stay ready because something might get presented to you. Staying ready versus knowing you got something, it's a different feeling. Knowing you
Right.
got something, it's like, okay, now we got something set in stone. Because it's been times, me personally, that I had to stay ready, but you know, I don't know, kind of lost you for a minute, but staying ready, but in the gym day in and day out, and those phone calls not coming through. It's kind of a bummer. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit of a it dims your light a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
when you get that
It,
phone call, it's like for me, it was like getting that phone call. It's like arriving to a surprise birthday party. Like, yeah, we here.
Hmm.
Yeah,
right.
you about to go show the world what we gonna do. You're about to
Right.
go, you know what I'm saying, pretty much, display your talents that you've been working on, any new things you've been working on. You know what I'm saying? So no, it's always good, man. It's always good.
So,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
go ahead,
sorry.
sir.
I was just gonna say, like it gets the training, it can get a little monotonous. So like you got
Mm.
to find ways to keep things interesting and keep things like new and fresh and working on new ideas and things of that nature. So yeah, like I said, once you get the name, then it's like, okay, let me start like fine tuning versus staying in shape or like staying ready, things of that nature. So yeah, like I said, you get to start watching film and breaking things down, and like that adrenaline starts to slowly build, and you're like, okay, like it's real now, like it's time,
Right.
it's go time.
Right. So, how how much longer after our last conversation before you inked it?
Um, I would say maybe. So what was the date actually on the interview we did? I want to say it was about 2-3 weeks ago. It was
Yeah.
Jerron Boutennis fought the night before, so that was what, like,
Hmm.
yeah, so maybe 2 weeks, if that. We were in discussions prior to, but it was just a matter of finding the right opponent and
Right.
making sure everything made sense. And then, just funny enough, after we got done, yeah, came down the pipe. Like I said, or the contract came to me in the email. I sent it back the same day. Like everything, everything just moved real smoothly after that for one reason or another.
Right.
Yeah, my good luck charm. I don't know. We're gonna have to keep doing these. If it helps keep me busy.
We can. You know what I mean? So is this fight at super middleweight as well?
No, this will be at 175.
Okay, okay, okay. Hey, something I'm familiar with. You know?
Yeah, I
No,
won't
but
be
yeah,
won't be
no,
here. It's not the weight I'll be campaigning at, but just a matter of like,
no.
it's not a
No, trust me, I know what it is. When you get those phone calls and you're just trying to go in there and finish fine tuning your artillery. I fought at cruiserweight. I wasn't a cruiserweight. I was a light heavyweight. And you know what I'm
right.
saying? In most cases, you get middleweights fighting at super middleweight. You get some middleweights fighting at light heavyweights for some fights. So yeah, no, it's definitely understood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Just
trying to see. I was just trying to see what you're gonna be campaigning at. You know what I'm saying?
eventually, yes, absolutely. Because that's why this is like me. I don't like. I feel like somebody I've watched is just based off of like physical like stats, physical statistics is like
Right.
Dimitri Bivol. Like I feel like me and him kind of have like the same build. I'm like an in between guy. I can like 168 is not a huge stretch, but 175 is where I feel like natural. I'm only
Right.
maybe about 7 or 8 pounds above light heavyweight at any given time anyway. So like I know me like fighting at 175, I'd be quote unquote smaller, but because like I said, I've done camps with natural light heavyweights and I've seen what like natural light heavyweights or not natural light heavyweights, but guys who cut to get to 175 look like. I know they're just a little bit bigger than me, but eventually I do plan on campaigning at 75. That's where I feel like I don't have to sap any energy. I don't have to sap any, you know, I'm not tapping into my reserves or like draining my reserves to make 175. That's where I feel like, there's no real cut. Like rehydration is just back to my walk around weight basically. So yeah, I'll have some advantages there when the time comes.
True indeed. So, I got a sparring partner for you. You know what I'm saying? You.
Hey,
Hey man, he's very experienced, very, very, he's been around the
hey,
block. So
I am no longer light heavyweight. Hey, cause now, everything I've done at light heavyweight, how I kept my body like that for that division. But it was a lot of things I didn't do that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do because I was fighting in a certain division. I wanted to put on a little bit more muscle, but
hmm
now I'm able to do that. I wasn't able to do that at light heavyweight because that was
Mm.
gonna push me into the next weight class. And I'm like, how
yeah,
I always felt, man, those boys that cruiserweight, they big. They coming in
uh-huh.
at 220. I'm like, and I was like, I'm not that big. I'm not going up to cruiserweight. Now, honestly, I don't know what it looked like on camera, but I'm walking around at like 230. You know what I'm saying? 240. But I look it like
Right.
muscular. You know what I mean? But I wasn't able to do that like heavyweight because I was like, no, them boys up there at cruiserweight, I think they cracking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I think it
kind
takes
of got to do
time.
that.
Like it
Yeah,
takes time to let your body grow and mature into. And when you talk, like I always say, boxing is like it's one thing from like minimum weight up to 54. And then when you talking 160 and up, you talking like these are big, strong men. So like shit, guys at 160 might come down from 190, 180. Guys at cruiserweight, like you said, might come down from 230, 240. So it's a different game what you're talking about them. Like I said, 60 and up.
Yeah.
I just want to say, man, like, congratulations though, Sean. Because you know, seeing your performance and like with Pacheco, and then you couldn't get no fights, like that shit was like a little disheartening. So to be able to see you be able to put that talent back to work in the ring, I just want to say congratulations, bro, for real.
Definitely, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's like I said, like it was a bummer for sure, but eventually you learn, like, no matter how that fight went, win, lose or draw, I could have been in the same position, but the job's not done, and my career definitely wasn't dependent on that fight, win, lose or
Mhm.
draw. So like I said, it was. I think things happen the way they're supposed to. God works in mysterious ways, as they say. So, yeah, no matter how it went, the job's not done. I still got a whole lot more to show the people, and even bigger fights to be in. So, we just, like
There
I
we
said,
go.
gonna keep the ball rolling and see where we land next.
Sure indeed. Go ahead. You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Because I get the
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I just had a question to ask, because I be thinking, but you said eventually light heavyweight is the move.
Yeah,
And this is just me thinking out loud, but you think the bigger fights are at light heavyweight? Because I think, me personally, I think the bigger fights are at super middleweight.
uh, well, I'll say this. So we got Canelo, who's coming to the end of his career, most likely, getting ready to face another guy coming to the end of his career, most likely, in Terrence Crawford. So it depends. Like, we can't really name any like real big name super middleweights. To me, I do think the bigger names are light heavyweight, but also at the same time, you just got to see how the boxing landscape pans out. These things,
Mhm.
like I said, these things take time. You've also got Dimitri Bivol, who's 33, going on 34. I don't imagine I mean, I don't know if he's going to move up to cruiserweight, but after this third fight with Beterbiev, I will say that each fight with Beterbiev is probably taking maybe 2 to 3
Yeah,
fights off of his career, just based
absolutely.
on the type of fights that they are. So I
Mhm.
don't know. We'll see. For me, like I said, I always want to do what's best for me physically.
Yeah,
Like, 175 is where I feel best, but 168 is a division I know that there's some decent names at. There's no real like structure in the weight class, because if Terrence goes on to beat Canelo, do we see him stay at 168 and defend those titles? Probably not. Most likely he rides off into the sunset. Um, then the belts go free. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, you just got to let things like that pan out. Plus, I'm ranked. Like, my name is in the WBC rankings at 168. So it might be better for me to stay there, but that's what management's for. I can speculate all day, but that's what management's for.
I don't know. Me spending a large portion of my boxing career campaigning at light heavyweight. I just felt there was, like, for you as of right now, like when I was campaigning at light heavyweight, yes, it was much more beneficial to stay at light heavyweight, not go to super middleweight, because wasn't nobody at super middleweight. All of the
Right.
heat was at light heavyweight. But right now, I feel like with Canelo being at super middleweight, you got what's the Mbili, you got Pacheco, you have all these other great names at super middleweight. Light heavyweight, like for David, I was saying that I felt he should have stayed at super middleweight, because at light heavyweight there's really no meaningful fights for him that's going to bring in those casuals. Nobody
Right.
know nobody know a Callum Smith.
Right.
Nobody know what's
Who the African guy?
Buatsi,
Joshua
Joshua
Buatsi.
Buatsi. Nobody know these guys, man. You know, all the
Well, maybe not
names.
in the American market, but
Yeah,
I will say they're big fights
but
over in the
that's what boxing
UK.
is
But
big at.
yeah.
And every country I have been to, everybody have always told me you ain't made it big unless you fought in America.
Right.
That's what boxing is big at. You know what I mean? Boxing is also big. It's big in the UK, but to make big fights, they know they have to come to America.
But I mean, I
Yeah,
gotta push back on you. Said I feel like in the light heavyweight, there's a little with David moving up. I'd like to see him in a I don't know how it better be better be. I'd like to see him with a Bivol. I'd like to
You
see him
see,
with.
see, see.
I want to see him. Yes,
Hey,
he about to have it out on camera.
he's the captain. He's the
two
captain.
time
But no,
captain.
it's like this. David have said that he's pretty much not going to the other side of the street. He's not doing business with Turk.
Mm,
So Turk have the Bibbles. Turk have the Baturvia. These are fighters that Turk have. So how you gonna make those fights
ah.
if you ain't willing, if you ain't willing, you know what I'm saying, play by their rules?
I mean,
Yeah,
I
and we already
that's
seen that happen with the WBC mandatory situation.
Yeah.
He decided to forego his title in order to
How?
pursue a third fight. So
Because he knew where his big money was coming from. It's coming from Turk.
yeah,
He gonna
which
Turk keep Turk. You know what I'm saying? He know where the money coming from, and why give up this opportunity? This what Turk is the one who got me this rematch.
see. That's why I don't. The politics. I don't understand too much.
it's the
Like
money, it's the money. Money is money. What
money's
do they
king,
say?
right?
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So,
Mm,
and all the money and all the power is being consolidated in one area. All these, I mean, even it's like the only people willing to go against uh the Saudis is the PBC guys because they
yeah.
have someone who has a investment fund backing them too. Like I was just reading, funny enough, before we got on, I was reading a story about how Oscar De La Hoya had just gotten up like and basically was saying like the money that Turkey's paying all these guys is it's almost like he's getting robbed. So it's like I don't know
Yeah.
how much longer that's gonna have. After the weekend, the
I
fights we
just
just seen, and
but see that's nothing. You say you don't know how long it's gonna last. Look, I think it's gonna last for a long time. I just seen an interview Turk did. He said at the beginning of the year they had, I think he said they had 6 billion to invest in boxing. He said with the fights that we putting on now we just had an increase of 16 billion. We ain't talking about
huh?
million. We talking billion.
Yeah,
These boys got that unlimited money, and he don't care. He don't care about per views. He don't care about wasting. He don't care about sales. They care about that over there on the Amazon PBC side. They care about the pay per view sales. Turk don't. He got endless money.
yeah.
Mm,
Well, yeah. It's almost it's an entertainment. Like it's
Yeah,
entertainment for them. Like you seen with the Ring magazine card in New York. It was an invite only. Wasn't nobody in there. It wasn't even a situation where you could buy tickets to go. It
yeah.
was essentially a free event for the people who were invited, and then they shelled out the money to the fighters. But again, it's like money might be unlimited, but at the same time, everybody wants something for their money, whether it be,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
entertainment or return on investment. Even if it's not a cash return on investment, they want to feel like they got something for the money that they put up. Maybe they might not. I don't know because I'm not a billionaire, so I can't say. But I know me, if I had that much money, even if I did put it up for an event like that, I want to at least be entertained. I'm paying you all this
Straight up.
money, entertain.
I'm not gonna ask you about yesterday's card, but what you think about the Friday card, man, in New York? What's your thoughts on them fights, man?
Well, I think people are a lot harsher on Devin Haney than necessary. It was his first fight in the ring
Well,
after a
stay
year.
casual over here, man. Hey. Keep speaking though. He need to
Yeah,
go somewhere else sometime.
he
Keep speaking. Go ahead.
yeah, he did his thing. He did what he needed to do to win. He did not get touched a single time. He made
Come
his
on.
money. But again, at the
Come
same time, it's a situation where I feel like he could have done a little bit more. But at
Hmm.
the same time, yeah, like I feel like the fans are a little harsh on him. You got to think.
on.
Okay, so the two guys who were involved, so Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, you see the difference between how the two of them looked after them meeting up against each other and then going their separate ways and then, being in against separate guys. One guy has, I mean, to speak positively about the performance, he showed unlimited stamina, great footwork, decent enough defense, like distance control, all that good stuff. He showed enough like in those aspects to get the job done without getting touched. I mean, if you can win a fight like that and you get paid upwards of 4 or 5 million, why not?
Right.
But and then Ryan Garcia on the other hand, you see. is a fine. Like we don't know how long he's been clean or dirty. We don't know. But what we do know for sure is that he was clean this time around and probably had the worst performance of his career. Well, not
Right.
probably. Did have the worst performance of his career. So yeah,
Sure.
like if we're gonna be harsh on anybody, we should be harsh on Ryan Garcia because he took he went from here to here within a year off.
Right. Nah, for
So
sure. My only like, cause I was definitely rooting for Devin, but my only thing was like, and I understand how the brain works, like, with certain traumas or whatever can, like, have a residual. They go into the amygdala, and it's your brain just is gonna react to certain. He just seemed like real scared in there. I mean, from like the movement seemed like a little like scared to
frantic.
me when yeah, like, and that was the thing. I was just hoping to see him like put that jab out a little more. I'm like just get comfortable with using your jab, but says telling me, look, man, look, when you have a performance like he did in his last one, there's shit he's still dealing with. It's been a
Yeah,
year.
absolutely. He very
So
well could. That fight very well could have been stopped. He was lucky that it wasn't stopped. So
right.
like going from potentially being like very well, and very close to being stopped to back in with honestly, like Ryan Garcia is not even a pressure fighter. He really just stood there and counterpunched him. So he went from that to fighting Jose Ramirez, who is a staunch like pressure fighter. He didn't throw a lot, the movement threw him off, but he went in there with a all out pressure kind of guy. I mean, he's on the back half. He's kind of washed up, like no disrespect, but he fought a pressure fighter and did exactly what he needed to do to beat that style. So
Yeah.
again, like he might have had some things in his head that might have held him back from throwing a few more punches, but the performance overall was exactly like, let's say he won the Ryan Garcia fight and then went in this fight and fought the same way. Like, he probably would have fought that guy the same way regardless. Like, Devin Haney's always been a back foot kind of guy. Like, he's not a move forward and throw combinations and, put his head in your chest kind of guy anyway. So, like, I can't see too different of a performance based on whether he won that fight against Ryan Garcia or not. He probably would have been sharper because he wouldn't have had the year-long layoff because of all the damage and everything else that happened. But he probably would have fought him the same way regardless, just with a few more, a few more punches here and there. Yeah, that's the only difference. Like, we got to give him credit for, like I said, taking on the kind of guy that he took on in his first fight back after a year, former unified world champion, only lost twice. And yeah, like I said, like all out pressure fighter. So I give him a little more credit than, and also because I know how hard it is as a fighter. Like I'm a fighter. So as a fighter, like we know how hard it is to get in there on any given night, whether you feel good or, you feel bad, to get in there and perform to the level that you need to beat a guy like that. So yeah, like I said, you won't hear me say nothing bad about him.
And I say at the end
My
of the
bad.
and I say at the end of the day, hey, yes, this is your bounce back performance coming off the fight that he came off of in a year layoff. Hey, at the end of the day, the job is to get the win, and
Right.
the job was done. No matter how you get the win. That way we can secure another fight for you in the future.
My
If you
bad.
Yeah.
lose, if you lose like Ryan did, now we got to start to recalculate some things.
My bad. My bad.
Contemplate retirement.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
I
he got the win.
yeah.
Now it's just work those other cobwebs out and you know what I'm saying, continue to go on from there. But he got the win. That's all that matters. People gonna
Yeah.
look, whether he would have went in there and put on a boxing masterclass against Ramirez and stopped them, made Ramirez corner stop it late. No matter what he would have did, I guarantee you, people was gonna say, "Oh, Ramirez was washed up anyway. He shouldn't have been in." They was gonna say what they gonna say anyway.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
They don't like Devin. Most of the reason they don't
Yeah.
like him, not because of Devin, because of his father.
I mean,
Yeah.
but okay, would you think about? I had Ryan in the Rolley fight, man. Like,
We all did. We all did. Everybody was saying the fight wasn't gonna go 3 rounds. It wasn't gonna make
word.
it to the second half. Like, but I mean, see, this is the thing about Rolly is like his superpower is that he's awkward. And for textbook fighters, like there's nothing that bothers a textbook fighter, a guy who just stands there, hands up, splayed his shoulder. Like, there's nothing that bothers them more than a awkward guy who doesn't really even know what he gonna do next. So, and like I said, we also have to remember this is the first time in a year he's been clean. He dealt with all the same things that Devin Haney had to deal with, from the lawsuit, the possible lawsuit, to the public,
Right.
like the execution in the court of public opinion, and
Right.
like all the racist Twitter rants, and like all the imagine everything he had to deal with that we didn't see on camera.
Right.
I mean, granted, he brought it all upon himself, but it all still plays a part. Like, boxing is 90% mental. Like, 90% of your preparation is mental. 10%, the 10% physical is things that you've been doing for years upon years anyway. Like I said, you might tweak things here and there depending on who you're fighting. You might game plan for the guy you're fighting, but 90% of it is making sure you're in the proper headspace to go in there and remember everything that you need to do and stick to the game plan and feel confident enough to go out there and execute the way you're supposed to. So who knows all the different things that he had in his head going into the fight. I wasn't rooting for him. Like, at this point, Ryan Garcia is almost like a circus. Like, it's the circus act, like
Right.
nobody really has ever taken him seriously throughout his career. And just when he was reaching a point in his career where people were finally starting to see him as a real fighter, he went and messed it up for himself. So it's almost like he's scared to be like viewed as what he's trying to be, a fighter. Like, if you're a fighter, then like you need to live like a fighter, think like a fighter, act like a fighter. It's like he's scared to do that for whatever
Mm.
reason.
But that's what I've been telling this casual. You know what I'm saying? But we need casuals because they think like a casual. I said it's hard because no matter what people say, because you have a lot of people that are rocking with Ryan. He wasn't on PEDs. It's hard to defend it when you go in there and fight like that. Because
Yeah,
the hook, that hook that he threw against Haney, and that one, I don't care. A year later, hey, that wasn't the same hook.
it
That
wasn't.
hook he was throwing, that hook he was throwing at Haney. Hey,
I feel like, man, I'm like, after that fight, I had so much more respect for like Rolley, man, because I'm like, he kept that right hand up the whole fight, like making sure he was protecting from that hook. Like, he was giving that stiff jab to the lower body, stiff jab. Like, it
Yeah,
seemed like he had a game plan. I'm like, man, Rolley looking like a skilled
it's
boxer.
it's the
well, he's
trainer,
training.
teacher
Yeah,
behind it.
he's with Ishmael Salas now.
When he got knocked out against Pitbull, Ishmael Salas wanted in his corner.
Mm,
But when you got a great teacher, hey, you learn a few things.
mm.
Yeah, and yeah, I think he's taken even his own career more seriously. I would say Rolly's like turned the corner since the like Mayweather Promotions days, and like just he did a lot of this to get to where he's at, and now he feels like, okay, I'm at a place now where I can just focus on being like improving as a fighter, and
Mm.
ultimately that's what everybody. It's like that. See, the thing about today's like era of boxing is like you almost have to be more of an entertainer than a great fighter, and like either you can balance both perfectly, or you can talk yourself into position, even if you're not necessarily the best fighter. Get not, lose a few times at the highest level, entertain the fans, and then you like go underground for a while and then come back a new product. I feel like that's what Rolly's kind of doing. He's talked himself into a position where he can make the money, and he's got the money now to where he don't got to worry about, he don't got to worry about nothing other than development as a fighter.
Mm.
But that's how it is. Like you said, it's an entertainment factor now. Because honestly, Beterbiev and Bivol will be way bigger fighters. First of all, if they knew English and if they can talk. Same thing with Boots. If Boots talked like Mayweather or Roy Jones, he will be way bigger than what
Close
he
that
is.
door. Go
But
back in the room.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel you with that. But then you got people like, which is why I respect Buzz so much, because he's not that talker. He's not trying to like, do like Tiafimo and be out here speaking reckless on people, and you know what I'm saying? Like, he just he talks in the ring. Like,
but guaranteed, if Bud did, he would sell more.
I mean, for sure,
See,
for
but the thing
sure.
about him though is like we've seen him. like go into fights with bad blood and like build fights
For
up, like
sure.
with the Jose Benavidez Jr.
Mm-hmm.
fight or like the Hank Lundy fight. Like he's authentic with it. Like that's how I am. Like if I got bad blood with you, like or if it's like it's gonna be like it's gonna have to be like that to where like we actually don't like each other. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna like fake beefs or fake like fake like I don't like somebody because I come from like not to say like I ain't no gangster, I ain't no tough guy, but like where I'm from and where I grew up, like people didn't like if people really had a problem with you, like it was real. Nobody
Right.
like acted like nobody acted like it was there was an issue between the two of you to like entertain anybody or anything like that. Like people got killed for stuff like that, like in the
Yeah.
world that like the place that I come from. So like I've never grown up like looking like, yeah, I wanna like, yeah, I need ops, or like I need, like I need to look tough or like I got a problem with somebody unless it was really genuine. Like and there's people in boxing that I feel like if we ever cross paths or we ever got the contract to fight them, like it might be that way, but like it's got to be authentic. That's the thing that
Right.
Terrence's beefs with fighters or like build-ups where things got heated were authentic, and that's the
Most
difference. Like
definitely.
people can tell when it's real versus when somebody's selling a fight. Like a lot of these guys just be trying to sell a fight, and then the fight ends up being a dud because there was no real bad blood. Like the fights that have
Right.
real bad blood in them, they entertain. Like the Jose
Right.
Ben, like I said, that fight was entertaining. The Hank Lundy fight was entertaining. Like
Mm-hmm.
even like him and Spence, they didn't like necessarily hate each other, but it was a lot of like it was a lot of back and forth, between the teams and the camps and even between them two for years leading up to that fight. So it was authentic. Like it's never been like I said, it's never been about selling the fight or selling the pay-per-view. Every fight that he's been in that was entertaining, the fight pretty much sold itself. So matchmaking is an even bigger like factor in that than just like, oh, do me and this guy not like each other? Y'all can hate each other all you want to, but is it a good fight at the end of the day? Like, is the fight going to
Right.
be entertaining?
Yeah. True that. True that. So that Canelo fight, you seen that?
Yeah, I watched it. Like, it was one of them situations where I watched it. Like, I got to about the third round, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna like keep it playing in the background while I finish cooking. Like, it wasn't one of them ones where I had to sit down and like pay attention and make sure I was watching. Anthony,
But but
Anthony,
but but
go in there and close the door.
okay,
Sorry.
because it's going to happen in boxing. I dealt with it, and I know if you haven't dealt with it, you soon will. Uh, how will you assess something like that? Because we all know William Skull, William School Skull, however you want to pronounce it. He didn't come to win the fight. He
Nah,
put
not
his
at all.
shackles on and he ran. I actually saw him do more running than Shakur ever done.
Uh
Yeah. Sorry, hold on real quick. One sec. I don't
yeah,
mean
yeah,
to, mean to cut you off. Give me one quick second.
I saw an interview Skull did.
uh-huh.
I mean, not Skull, but
Canelo?
Canelo. He
Uh-huh.
said Skull told him basically like, man, I'm sorry, man. This is my first time at this, at
At
this
this
level.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just don't want to
My
disappoint you.
fault. I had to get my boy together.
Nah, it's cool, it's cool. But now, yeah, School. He didn't come to fight, man. He came to. I don't know what the fuck he came to do. I don't know what his game plan was, but he wasn't executing. I
I mean, he
thought
got a
he.
pretty little penny, and he was happy to
Yeah,
get the opportunity to say he fought Canelo. Got
but
got to fight for the undisputed title.
the,
Got to
the
fight in
thing
Saudi
is,
Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
but who's going to be calling you for another fight when you perform like that? Nobody want to fight that.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
truth be told, like, I, it's funny how boxing works. It's like 6 degrees of separation at any given time. So a guy I had brought in towards the end of my camp for the Diego Pacheco fight that I sparred with, this guy named Sean Hemphill. I was working with him, and he ended up right off of our sparring going and fighting William Skull in on a Canelo undercard in an 8 round fight. So I'm just saying that to say that Skull was fighting like fought an 8 rounder on the Canelo, like buried on the Canelo undercard, before the prelims even started to in the ring with Canelo a fight or two
Yeah.
later. So I'm sure he probably never even imagined that he was gonna get there. Like I'm sure it was he things probably moved 100 miles per hour for him once he got that title off of Shishkin. Once him and Shishkin fought, he won that title. He probably didn't have
No,
time to.
I know it moved like that because I seen an interview in the past that when Skull, when he was Canelo's mandatory, Canelo turned the fight down. I don't want to fight him. And I think Canelo didn't want to fight him, not because Canelo didn't think he can beat him, because Canelo knew the fight would be like that. He watched
Yeah,
this guy. He knew it'd
yeah,
be like that. And a fight like that, it don't sell. Not in the American market. It won't sell. And the Americans, we don't know them. But the Saudis, they pay for it. You know why they pay for it? Because they trying to set up a fight with him and Crawford, and it will make more sense for it to be for undisputed, seeing that y'all both are undisputed champions. But in
yeah,
order for this fight to be for undisputed, we need that title from Skull.
yeah. I mean, honestly, yes, absolutely. Like it was never a matter of, oh, I'm worried about this guy. I think his only worry was like getting frustrated because the guy wasn't
Yeah,
fighting. Like
and,
and he
and,
handled it
and that's what
perfectly.
he
You
did.
just if a guy don't want to fight, you put your hands up, you walk, you walk him down, you cut the ring off, you land your shots here and there where you can get them, and then you move on with your night. Like Canelo's experienced enough to know that too. Going into the fight, I'm sure his game plan was exactly that. Like let me just go ahead and you know make sure I land a shot here and there, at least, enough to convince the judges that I'm here to win. He didn't have to do much. The other guy, like I said, he threw a jab here. He caught him with some good shots here and there, but it wasn't
Yeah,
like I said, he was
yeah,
trying to win. Like you got the undisputed title on the line and you spent more, you've done, I'm not going to say the word ran, but you like moved for a distance, like a 6-7 miles worth of distance in a 18 by 18 foot square ring. It's ridiculous. Yeah,
Yo, he said 6 to 7
like
miles.
it's crazy. It's because you rarely see fight like this, but it's crazy when you got the referee coming to you and saying, "Man, fight!
Yeah, let's get some more
Like
action.
give me some more. Like show
yeah,
us. I'm gonna
Yeah,
start taking points, man."
yeah,
Canelo, like, tell him the same motherfucking thing. Like,
straight up.
he's
yeah,
running. He's not
yeah.
trying
It
to
wasn't.
fight.
Yeah, and in fights like that, like I said, you could see it in his eyes. He got to a point in the fight where he's just like, okay, like it became like a workman's night for him. It wasn't like let me go out there and knock this guy out. Like let me just make sure I land enough. Let me just
Mm,
do enough to get the fight. Let me
right.
just get through these rounds. Like like I said, I've been in fights like that where like I come out of the other side of it like yeah I won, but like I'm unhappy because like I spent a whole 8 weeks training for this. Like I spent money on camp. I brought sparring partners in. I'm training 2-3 times a day. I'm doing all these different things for that. You know,
Right.
that's the thing that I'm sure he was most frustrated with is just like I spent all my time. I spent a training camp's worth of time for that. Nobody wants to be in a fight like that. I'd much rather be in a. I'd rather be in a war. So in some instances, some guys would rather be in a war than have a fight like that.
Mm,
Get cut, banged up, all that. But at least you entertained, or you felt like it was worthy of the energy and emotional and physical and mental energy invested in it.
mm. Man, yeah, it was a snooze fest. I felt like,
It was a hard. It was a hard watch only because, like I said, only because Skull he didn't come to fight. I dealt with fighters like that, and you know, if without having the experience, it's hella frustrating, man. It's just because you're like, man, like I can't hit this dude, not because I can't hit him, not because I'm just not skilled enough. Because he's not coming to fight. He came to
Yeah.
survive and get respect.
And
That's
what you
it.
would have to do would like the how far out of your shell you'd have to go just to be able to do, just to be able to hit the guy, it would put you in danger. And it's like at a certain point, you have
mm,
to balance the two. You have to understand that like I'm gonna do what I need to do to win. I'm not gonna come outside of that because anything more than that puts me in danger of getting caught with something I don't see, or puts me in danger of getting cut or elbow or whatever. Like you have to understand that some nights are just gonna be that way. Get through
You see,
them, move on to the next.
you seen sometimes in the fight, like Canelo wanted to hit the man so bad he was actually like selling out,
You're
like
right.
throwing. He shouldn't have been throwing, but he's just trying to hit this guy. But
y'all think that's what happened with Mungia in the first fight of the dude he just fought the rematch? Like he was trying to do too much, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just getting the win.
Yeah, I think so because it was a homecoming fight um, against a relatively unknown guy with 4 knockouts. Who, it all bets were on. Mongia was supposed to knock this guy out, look good doing it, entertain his hometown fans, and then move on to something bigger. But that's the thing. I'm sure he like fighting at home. I'm sure it was a million people hitting him up. Hey, can I get tickets? Probably stop him in the street. Can I get pictures? Like I'm sure it was a lot he had to deal with. Like fighters from when you're talking about having an entire country behind you versus like me. Like if I fought back at home, I'd have a portion of the state behind me versus an entire country, like it's different. I can imagine the pressure and like the distraction that he was under.
Mm.
And again, like I say, it was a foregone conclusion that he was supposed to go in there and like break this dude down, beat him up. I mean, he had just came off of a really good win against Eric Bazinian, which I didn't even think he was going to win that fight. So for him to then go into this whatever the guy's name is, and that happened to him, yeah, Suraj or Sriracha, whatever, yeah, like that was 100%
Sriracha.
unexpected, yeah, Sriracha, whatever the man name is, but yeah.
But
And
I think,
even in this rematch, like he had a hard time. He had a very hard time.
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
what he coming off of that knockout loss, he even had to get over it. Like we saw him work out those mental lapses live. Thankfully, they did the rematch in a timely fashion to where he didn't have too much time to dwell on it.
right.
Right. I think what helped him also too was having Canelo's trainer in his corner because it seemed like he was trying to like tamper him down some like, hey man, now you stop trying to go out there and just knock him out. Like use your
Yeah,
jab. 'Cause I think who was the commentator talking about they never seen Mungia use the jab as much as he was using and stuff like that.
Sergio Mora. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they
We never seen him fight with his hands up that much. Like be as patient
hmm
as he was, but also at the same time, like I said, we had to watch him work it out. Like from
true that.
rounds 1 through 3, he was he was a little apprehensive. Once he realized, like, okay, I can start getting to this guy if I do it like slowly, methodically. Yeah, it was a different fight. He started to break him down in the back half of the fight once he felt like, okay, like I'm good now. I'm warmed up. Like I've taken this guy's best shot and it ain't hurt me. I've kept everything in front of me. He ain't hit me with nothing I ain't seen coming. So yeah, like I said, we watched him work out the mental lapses. Like I said, he didn't. Now if he had to go through what Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia went through, where he sat on the shelf for a year and people had all year to talk about it and get him down and have him thinking about it and questioning himself, we might have seen a different guy. But he got like I said, new team, renewed vigor, like I said, quick turnaround, like right back in the fire. That's what you got to do with guys like that when they come off of a hard loss. If as long as they're not physically damaged, you got to put them right back in there. Don't give them time to think about what went wrong.
Mm. Hmm. Shoot. All right then. So, do you want to let the people know, if where they can, come see the fight? If people want to come see it, you know what I'm saying? Like, where it's gonna be at? Who's gonna the promotion? Like, try to get some more eyeballs on you and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be so the fight card itself is being promoted by Christy Martin Promotions. It'll be like I said, Nashville, Tennessee, May 17th at the Fat Bottom Brewery. Um, I've never been. This will be a new experience for me, so I'm looking forward to that. I believe it'll be streamed. Christy Martin Promotions does a really good job with like the production and all that. As that starts to come together, as far as like the streaming platform it'll be on and all that. It'll all be posted on my social media, Instagram at theamazing.sm, TheAmazing.sm. Yeah, like I said, Sean McCalman on Facebook, The Amazing Sean McCalman, all that. As I get more information and as details start to slowly start to trickle out, I'll start to do some more promoting.
I bet. I'm gonna be there, man. I told my wife, man, I'm taking off from my 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna show up. The wifey, my daughter, who boxes here and there. She's, you know what I'm saying. But so yeah, we're gonna show up, man, to support
That's
for
dope, man. I
sure.
definitely do appreciate that too, because yeah, it's gonna be a meaningful one for me. Like my first fight off of what happened last year, and like I said, I feel like a new and improved version of myself. So I definitely appreciate y'all wanting to come out and check me out.
For sure, for sure.
Make sure I do my
Yeah,
thing.
definitely go out there and do your big one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I had one more question.
What you got?
Seeing that this
What you
fight
got?
is in the middleweight division, another fight going on this year with at the end of this month.
Who that?
You got Run Punch.
Ah,
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Don't do that to him.
No, I be wanting to know other boxers' opinions on certain things, man. So you got
Charlo and
Charlo
And
versus
Plant.
Joanna. No. You know, Charlo versus
Yeah.
Joanna. They fighting first. That's the setup for a Plant with Charlo versus Plant. I don't know if you've seen the interview that Charlo did, the Zoom press conference he
Uh-huh.
had.
Okay, hold on. Before you continue, did you call that man Rum Punch?
yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh
what they
man.
call him, man. They call him Jamal Rum Punch Charlo, man.
They
That's
don't call him
crazy,
They
man.
do call him that, man.
that.
No, man. He,
Oh
hey,
man.
that's what they call him, Rum Punch, man. They say he always drunk. So, hey,
He's it's sad.
he going through something, and he's dealing with, in my opinion, he's dealing with some real mental things. This is coming from somebody. I spoke with people who know him, like who's in his,
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying, in his close circle, who see this guy come around often, and they said, no, he shouldn't be fighting right now. He's got other mental things that he's dealing with that he's.
But that's that man. That's sad, man. Because I understand we gotta eat, and you gotta provide for yours. But it's like, man, there's nobody in your corner to be able to see that, and you see the mental deterioration and like how and you just gonna like throw them out there. Like people could get hurt in that ring, man. That shit is that's sad, man.
When money is involved, man, people will compartmentalize their emotions or their care for you when they know. Cause okay, look at it like this, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but a fighter has a team. They got a trainer, they got strength conditioning people, they got chefs, they got a full panel of people. If these people know I'm getting a percentage off of him fighting, and who knows,
Mm-hmm.
one or two of them people in that camp might be relying on that little one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% or whatever he's giving him. They might be down to their last right now. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever he gonna make off that fight and break them off might be what keeps them afloat. Or, some people may not even care to dig too deeply. He might just brush it off with I'm good, let's get to work, and that's enough for them, it all depends. I know, like I said, we seen everything that he's been going through for the last couple of years with his wife and uh yeah, like you said, he's going through a lot, and he may not have people around him who truly care to dig deep enough to ask, or he may be the type of person that you ask, or you try to pry and try to dig too deep, he might push you away, or he might cut you off for
Right.
being in his business. So I don't know
Yeah.
the guy personally, but yeah, for him to be going through what he's been going through for this long, it tells me that yeah, like the people around him ain't tried too hard to like get to the root or tried to push him in a direction to come out of it. But also at the same time, he's a fighter. I know, like me, even myself, like I'm a fighter. To be a fighter, you got to be able to go to dark places mentally, and sometimes you may get stuck there. You may not come out of it, depending on what kind of situation arises. So, for him,
Yeah.
fighting might be the only way out of it. For a lot of
Mhm.
fighters, like getting back in the ring is the only way sometimes to get out of that place. Like I know for me, I've been in some dark places where I felt like the only thing that was gonna get me right was, having a target in mind, like getting back in the camp, just refocusing on boxing. Sometimes it's the only thing that will get you out of that.
Damn, I never even
Well,
thought of it from that perspective, man. Yeah. You know?
yeah, because it's the one thing we do that like I said, as crazy and as dangerous as it is, it's like the ring is the place where you feel peace, or like the gym is the place where you feel peace. Is like I said, as backwards as it may sound, like, going in there and risking your life is the one thing that like feels normal to you. Getting outside the ring or getting outside the gym is like, you feel
It's
weird
great.
in the quote unquote real world. Like, you don't feel normal in the real world. Like me myself, yeah. Like, I don't feel normal outside of like my home and the gym. Like, outside them is the only two places in the world where I feel like normal.
Right. Hmm.
But
Crazy. Crazy but true. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, you could very well be going through that. Like I said, like we may see him win this fight, and it might be the catalyst that gets him back to some sense of normalcy. Because boxing is probably the only constant in his life that has brought him any good. Is what it seemed like. Like I said, when you fighting with you're having it out publicly with your wife, and
Yeah.
like that's supposed to be like your ace. So yeah,
Mhm.
if you ain't good with her, then I can't imagine there's too much else good outside of boxing that you got going for yourself at the time. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Speaking as a married
Yeah.
man myself, but yeah,
Nah, I already know. So, married
yeah,
man over here too. Shoot, man, I
yeah,
already know. Word.
Yeah. We all are.
yeah, yeah. If boxing ain't going well and home life ain't going well, man, where you gonna go? Where you gonna go for some solace? Like where can you go? For him, it
Shoot.
might be the bar, strip club,
Yeah.
whatever, like somewhere where the
Real.
alcohol is flowing. So
I got
I
I got
definitely hope to see him come out of it though, because I do
I
want
got
to
Me
see this
too.
Caleb Plant fight.
I gotta get a
Yeah, me
bun that
too.
say rum punch.
Nah, man, stop it.
Man, that's
Stop
crazy.
Sometimes you gotta put ego aside, man. You know what I'm saying?
it.
Hey man. Because in my opinion, like personally, if you're not 100% up here, because like you say, boxing is 90% mental. If you're not right mentally, you're not going to be right in there. And you got somebody in there literally trying to offer your head. Hey man, and you ain't thinking like you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? You can't even stick to a proper game plan. You ain't no good in that ring,
But
man.
like he was saying, like, seeing that he may be able to resort back to his skill set and what he's trained,
Might he might be. That's a
and
big might.
Yeah, it's a big
Might
if.
not be. Yeah.
It
Because
also
I saw
depends
how
on the
he looked.
habits.
I saw how he looked against Jose Benavides. He looked
Mhm.
okay. Didn't look like himself. That was even coming off a long layoff. This is even another long layoff.
Mm.
He's still dealing with what he's dealing with. He's not getting better.
Man, he a Houston boy, so I'm riding with
Man,
him. I hope,
I'm from I'm,
I
I'm from
hope.
Houston. I mean, I'm from the Shy. I stay in Houston.
Yeah, nah. I
So
mean, I'm from Long Island, but still, I've been down here damn near my whole life, so I'm a H Town boy now. So I'm saying, like, I'm riding with him. I hope this fight does get him back, and bring, like you said, some normalcy into his life, and he be able to get right, man. Because like it's sad to see it, that interview. I couldn't even watch the whole interview. I had to like stop. It was like it was just like, damn, man. I couldn't do it. So
And what's crazy is I don't even think he was like under the influence in that. I think that if his drinking is or was as bad as I feel like it probably was, then he's probably done some sort of irreparable damage to his, on top of being a fighter. So, dehydration, alcohol, what it does to
to the
to
brain.
every part of your body, not just the
Hmm.
brain, but yeah, especially the brain. He might have irreparable damage done to him. Like physically, he may look however old he is. He's probably what, like 32, 33 physically on the outside, but internally, internal organs, brain age, and all that. He might be 50 for all we know. So, yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's probably at a point now where he's done so much damage to his body with the alcohol that, yeah, like that's just probably the way he talks now. Like there is there's not gonna be much clarity of thought or clarity of like
Mhm.
spoken word anymore. I think, but like I said, that's worst case scenario. But like I don't think he was drunk in that interview. I feel like that's just where he's at now. Like wherever
Mm.
and you saw him go like shift between two different like personality spectrums in like a 15-minute interview. Like he was holding it together, wasn't saying a whole lot, and then like out of nowhere it just ramped up, like he got like
Yeah,
super
he talking about
hostile, and like yeah,
getting
it
in
was
the paint.
crazy.
He's like, you gonna get in the paint. Hey, you know how he's like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
he
shit.
like, man, what is going on here? Like even Lamana was like, man, what? Like yo, like somebody come get this guy. Something ain't right with him. I'm sitting there
Word.
thinking too, like, yo, this is lightweight embarrassing. Somebody come get this guy, man. Get him off camera.
Mm-hmm.
He's in
Yeah,
no condition to be talking to the public.
right. Yup.
No.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's fucked up.
it's
Yeah,
boxing, man.
but
That's what it is.
if they offer you to fight, take it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going in there and I'm gonna try to kill the man because he wouldn't care about my problems, so I don't give a damn about his. Please, please believe me. Yeah, all the
Straight,
problems. I got problems too, but like I ain't running off to a bottle to help me solve them. That's the only difference.
straight up.
Like me, I deal with mine sober of thought and like sober physically and sober mentally. Like whatever I'm dealing with is just like it just is what it is. Like I'm not gonna put
Right.
my boxing career at a detriment because of like outside things. Like I said, for me, like I've always been the type of person like boxing has always solved all my problems. Like or like it at least makes me feel better about the problems I may have. Here or there. Wherever whatever it may be, big or small. The one thing that's always pulled me back down to ground and like rooted my feet in the ground was boxing. So like I'm never gonna turn my back on myself, because that's really all you're doing. Like it's your boxing career, but you need your body to do it. You gotta take care of your body to be able to do it. So I'm never gonna turn my back on myself or my career. Like boxing's always kept my 2 feet on the ground when my mind might be somewhere else. But yeah,
And that's what these youngsters need to hear. You know what I'm saying? That are coming up.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
that's
yeah.
turning on yourself by bringing certain things into your life that are a detriment to your physical.
Yeah, and that could be with anything. Like I said, you ain't even got to be an athlete. Like I said, you just if you're running to outside sources to fix internal issues, you're never going to be a whole person. Like it's you're never gonna be able to like self actualize is what is the term that I've always heard. But yeah, like you'll never be a self actualized person if you don't deal with whatever is wrong internally first. But like I said,
For
that's
sure.
a subject for maybe we could start a psychology podcast or something together. But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Word. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's it then.